Hello friends, I'm Kristopher, the Midwest Man Mountain. Welcome to HGMM. Today's question we're asking is, can I overprune my plants? And the ever popular answer is, it depends. Believe it or not, what I have here is only 4 squash plants. They're spaced appropriately, but they grow significantly. So I'm going to prune them where they're overcrowding my tomatoes and raspberries and other vegetables. This will put the energy from those squash plants into the existing vegetables, making them even more hearty and delicious. I want to kill this plant. No matter how many times I cut these suckers off the bottom of this old mulberry tree, they keep coming back. Sometimes you can prune and prune and prune and it won't get rid of your problem, so I'd have to resort to more drastic measures. But again, this is an old tree as opposed to a tender bush, so it's a situational event. I pruned this lilac bush a little bit over a year ago. Here in Gardening Zone 5A, it's recommended that lilacs get pruned just after the flowers are done blooming, so for us that's around the end of May. This whole giant bush used to be about 14 to 16 feet tall, and I decided to cut it down to chest length, some parts a little bit higher. And because of that vigorous, liberal pruning, I didn't get any flowers this year. So perhaps I pruned too much in that regard. But nature is hardy. It came back with a lot of green foliage, and I expect next year I'm going to have flowers again. But if I don't, I'm going to go and do more of a conservative pruning. Thin it out so there's more airflow between the leaves, you don't get as much moisture on there, they'll get more sunlight, and that in turn, in time, will produce flowers again. This tree behind me here was damaged recently in a storm that had severe and high winds. The crack that we just saw is at a point where when I cut this off, it's going to remove about 50% of the crown of the tree. Now that is some severe pruning. For regular pruning of my trees in the backyard, I never take off more than 5 to 10% of the crown. Here I'm pulling down the stuff where I can't walk underneath it, and I'm just trimming it off. You can do this with a hand pruners, or a big lobbers, or even one of those saws at the end of a pole. When you're pruning things, you've got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? In the case of this jade that I'm nursing back to health, the purpose is to get more greenery along this area here. So if I were to cut all of the old growth off, that would be over pruning. But I've got these 2 little new buds growing right here, and I like the location, but this one right here is too close to this branch, whereas this one is going to be fine when it grows out. So I'm going to prune this little section off. It's not too much, it's just the right amount for the healthy growth that I want on this plant. So again, in conclusion, the answer to that age-old question of can I overprune is, it depends. It depends on the kind of plant, it depends on what you want to do, it depends on your gardening zone, and so much more. What tips and tricks do you have for pruning? Leave them in the comment section below. Then subscribe to HGMM and check out my page, Midwest Man Mountain Home and Garden DIY. So, until next time, happy gardening. Bye.